Why do we need an English Parliament? The simple answer is because of the injustices caused by New Labour's unequal devolution. So many issues are now devolved in Scotland and Wales that we can't talk sensibly anymore about British education, transport or health policy. The current arrangement is unfair to English voters. Scotland and Wales have their own Parliament and Assembly, but they are still overrepresented here in the House of Commons. Scottish and Welsh MPs preside over English matters. English MPs have no reciprocal right. The Barnett formula gives about 1/3 extra spending to Scotland for equal need. This setup is completely out of kilter, and the only constitutionally workable solution is the creation of an English Parliament. An English Parliament would ensure that legislation affecting England was proposed and implemented by MPs accountable to the English electorate. It would allow for proper parliamentary time to be allocated for the debate of English matters and scrutiny of English legislation. It would kick the West Lothian question into touch. An English Parliament would ensure that ministers were directly politically accountable to the constituency that their department serves. It's wrong that Scottish constituency MPs are given English portfolios, like Douglas Alexander at English Transport, currently trying to impose an England-only road pricing scheme. This was wrongly reported on the BBC as if it were a UK-wide issue. An English Parliament would create a more inclusive civic sense of English identity and national purpose. An English Parliament would give England political leadership. Scotland has a First Minister, England does not. Why then should Gordon Brown become in effect First Minister of England? Gordon Brown has no democratic mandate on important matters such as education, health and transport. His constituents in Scotland don't elect him to represent them in these areas, and neither does any voter in England. English people want an English Parliament. The most recent opinion polls put support for an English Parliament at over 60%. Compare that with the vote for the Scottish Parliament of 44%, which was described as the settled will of the Scottish people, and with the 21% who voted for Tony Blair's government at the last election. An English Parliament would spell an end to plans for elected regional assemblies in England, which was simply an attempt to break up England. As Charles Kennedy said, to call into question the idea of England itself. An English Parliament is the only long-term hope of preserving the United Kingdom. Let's have a fair constitutional settlement for England, as well as the other nations of the UK.